You know that feeling, right? You walk away from an argument, and then bam, hours later, the perfect comeback just pops into your head. If you know exactly what I'm talking about, well, that's what we're going to get into today.
I mean, if this has ever happened to you, you are so not alone. It's that super frustrating moment when your mind just goes completely blank, only to come up with all these brilliant things to say when it's way, way too late. Turns out it's a totally universal experience. And guess what? It even has a name.
The French have this great term for it, l'esprit de l'escalier, which basically means staircase wit. You know, it's the witty thing you think of on the staircase after you've already left the conversation. But here is the single most important thing I want you to take away from all of this.
That pause, that feeling of freezing up, it is not a failure. It's a feature. Your brain is actually doing something incredibly sophisticated under the hood, and we're about to break down exactly why that little delay might just be your hidden strength. Okay, so first things first, we have to tackle this huge cultural bias we all have, this obsession with being quick on your feet.
I mean, think about it. In a meeting, a debate, an argument, we automatically give credit to the person who responds the fastest. We just assume they're the smartest person in the room. But what's really going on in our brains tells a completely different story.
See, there are two kinds of intelligence at play here. Fluid intelligence is like your brain's raw processing speed, how fast it can go. But crystallized intelligence, that's your deep, rich library of all your knowledge, your past experiences, your wisdom. So when you experience staircase wit, it doesn't mean you're not smart. It means your strength is right here in that crystallized column. Your brain isn't just trying to find any answer. It's searching for the best answer by scanning everything it knows.
And let's be real, we've all seen this in action. The person who talks the fastest and the loudest isn't always the person who's the most correct. Speed can look really impressive, but a lot of the time, it can just be a cover for not having a lot of depth. So, if it's not about being slow, what in the world is actually happening inside your brain when it just locks up in the middle of a tense conversation? Let's get into the science.
The main culprit here is a chemical you have definitely heard of, cortisol. Yep, the stress hormone. The moment you feel attacked or put on the spot, your brain's ancient survival system kicks into gear and just floods your body with it.
And here's what that cortisol flood does. First, it pretty much takes your rational, smart, articulate brain, your prefrontal cortex, and shuts it down temporarily. Second, it fires up your oldest, most primitive survival instincts: fight, flight, or in this case, freeze. Your brain suddenly cares a whole lot more about surviving what it thinks is a threat than it does about crafting the perfect zinger.
So this is the really crucial part. In that moment, your mind isn't empty, not at all. It's actually overwhelmed with information. The best way to think about it is that your brain is buffering. You know, like when you're trying to stream a movie and you just get that little spinning wheel. That's your brain.
And that little spinning wheel doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means your brain is working like crazy. It's scanning every memory, weighing all the possible outcomes, analyzing social cues, fact-checking. It's doing this incredibly deep and complex search. It is not an empty void.
So now that we get what's happening, how do we start to reframe this buffering thing? How do we stop seeing it as a weakness and start seeing it for what it is, a genuine superpower? Just take a second and think about it. Maybe you were driving or in the shower, just replaying that conversation over and over in your head. When was the last time you absolutely nailed it?
See, that perfect comeback? That wasn't just some fantasy. That was the moment your brain finally finished its buffering process. Once the cortisol went away and your rational brain came back online, it delivered the goods. It gave you the accurate, well-thought-out, powerful response it was looking for the whole time.
This is your edge. While other people are just reacting to the words on the surface, your brain is busy analyzing tone of voice, body language, and all the things that aren't being said. You're playing chess while they're playing checkers. You don't deal in impulsive reactions, you deal in thoughtful accuracy.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. People who are experts in high-stakes negotiation know this stuff inside and out. A deliberate pause, a moment of silence, it can make the other person really uncomfortable. It makes you look thoughtful and in control. Your natural tendency is literally a professional tactic.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually use the pause instead of letting it use you? Well, there's a simple 3-step protocol that can buy your brain the precious time it needs.
It's honestly this simple. First step, acknowledge what they said. This shows you are actually listening. Second step, state your process. Say something like, I need a moment to think that through properly. Notice you're not apologizing, you're sounding deliberate. And finally, step 3, set a timeline. This could be, give me 10 seconds, or it could be, let's talk about this tomorrow. Just like that, you've taken control of the pace.
So let's just zoom out and bring this all home. This is really about a fundamental shift in how you see your own mind.
Look, we live in a world that just worships speed. Move fast and break things, right? But the most important decisions, the biggest breakthroughs, the best constructed arguments, they almost never come from a knee-jerk impulse. They come from careful, deliberate, and yes, sometimes slow consideration. Your pace isn't a bug, it's a feature built for depth.
So I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. The next time you feel that freeze, that pause, that buffering wheel start to spin, instead of feeling embarrassed, I want you to try and feel the power in it. What if that silence isn't your greatest weakness, but is actually your most powerful weapon?